Hey there, superstars. It is Vanessa here again, your speaker, trainer, and coach from Live, Love, Give. And today I'm bringing you a message which I was kind of like, oh, what do I feel like talking to you guys about today? And this topic popped up because, number one, I've been traveling a lot, as you guys know. And, sorry, my screen's like really bright. And number two, I've been actually immersing myself in a documentary recently, and I found it super interesting, and it's why I really wanted to deliver a message which is all about studying cultural differences so that you can ultimately, better understand yourself and what you want. And I find this really fascinating. I don't know about you guys, if you geek out as much as I do and fascinate over people and from all different walks of life. Like, nothing excites me more than getting to meet people who are just kind of like maybe the opposite to me in some regard, and try and like just kind of dive into their world and work out why they do what they do, why they believe the things that they believe, what's working for them, what doesn't seem to be working for them. What can I take from their lifestyle, from their mindset, from their belief system, and integrate with mine in order to generate a more fulfilling life, a more inspired life, and ultimately tick some boxes in each of those areas of my life. So that is a big part of why I love traveling, and why pretty much over the last 4.5 years, I practically haven't stopped, although I did have about a five-month stint back home in Australia this year. But yeah, most of the time I have been traveling over that 4.5 years, and just gotten back from 3 months traveling around Europe and a little tiny bit in Dubai as well. And why I love doing that is because I'm somebody who always wants to challenge my mindset. I don't want to fall into comfort. I don't want to just fall into what I already know, because I know where that can lead to based on my research and study of the human mind and, reaching our highest potential. And oftentimes when we just fall into the same old patterns and we just live in the same place and we see the same people and we do the same things and we don't ever change, and it's just like a constant every single day, we wake up, we do the same things, and we're not challenging our way of living, we end up just feeling like there's something missing. But we're kind of too scared to kind of venture out and discover what that is, and we kind of kid ourselves into believing that how we do it is the right way and other people are kind of weirdos, right? But as you travel, and I'm sure you guys have done some travel, even if you travel in your own country, when you go into a different state, it's totally different. There's something different about, that way of living, that lifestyle, that identity. And I like to put that on steroids and get myself to countries, ideally, that I haven't been to before. Although this 3 months of traveling that I just did, I had been to all bar one of the countries that I actually visited for that 3 months, but I went to totally different places. And it was really eye-opening, and it was really fascinating, and I was able to kind of go, oh, like, okay, this is how the French do things. This is what they believe around their family life, their community. This is their mindset around their work life. This is how open they are to communicating about different things with different people. And I had some really interesting, conversations and situations happen where I'd meet new people, and I kind of like get questioning them. And if you guys know me by this stage, you know that if you want to have a conversation with me, I'm generally most interested if we're going to go deep and we're going to talk about the stuff that matters, and we're going to, talk about like what inspires you and what terrifies you and go those kind of depths. And so when I meet new people, I like to kind of gear it that way at some point, after I've kind of quizzed them. And even the questions that I ask are kind of going to be like, whoa, like, don't even know this girl, like, how's she asking me that, right? But I found in particular that the French were very, every time I go to France, it's like I've had the experience of meeting brand new people, and I've had the experience of building relationship with locals over years, right? And it's a totally different experience. It's like this very held back kind of way of being, and they do kind of open up, but it's this whole different mindset, this whole different way of living and holding of yourself and presenting of yourself. Whereas it's totally different. You know, you get to Italy, and I did about 5 weeks just road tripping all the way across Italy, and I found, you know, that kind of culture is really passionate, you know, like if they got a problem, you're going to know about it. You know, they're very expressive, like highly different to just crossing the border into France. And then you get to Greece, and, you know, I absolutely loved my time in Greece because I was solo traveling at that time, and I felt like it was probably one of the best places in the world to actually be a woman solo traveling, because the mindset and the lifestyle that the Greeks live is, from my perception and experience, had been very family orientated. I kind of felt like a long lost cousin with everybody that I'd meet, and they all kind of wanted to look after you and make sure you're having a great experience and all this sort of stuff. And you know, it was a very different experience to being in different countries around the world where they're more isolated, more to themselves. And anyway, I could keep going on. Like even in Spain, you know, Spain is somewhere that just kind of blew my mind in terms of, you know, having siestas in the middle of the afternoon, and you can't get dinner until it's like after 8 and like mainly around 10 p.m. and all these sort of different ways of living, and all of these sort of, you know, ways of showing up and what works for different cultures and communities. And then I've been watching this documentary, and any of you guys who have Netflix, I think pretty much all of us do at this stage, there is a really interesting documentary, and it is called Sex and Love Around the World. And I found it fascinating. I've only got one more episode to go, and what this kind of documentary is all about is it's about going to all of these different countries and diving into the intimate details of how these people live their lives around love. What do they believe around love, a relationship, sex, intimacy, all of it. And it's been absolutely fascinating. Like they did Tokyo, Delhi, Ghana, Berlin. I think the next one I've got is Shanghai. They did Beirut. And yeah, anyway, it's been super interesting to get into the lives of, and not just the lives, but the relationship dynamics of these different cultures. And I think it's been just absolutely fascinating to see the similarities, you know, we as human beings, the struggles, you know, the successes that we kind of share in the most intimate part of our lives, and also coupled with the major differences, the difference in mentality, the difference in equality, the difference in, you know, just the whole way of being, of courtship, of marriage, of all these different elements that are really, really vital to our fulfillment. And I really encourage you guys to check that documentary out. I found it was really interesting. It's a brand new one. So Sex and Love Around the World, really, really good. And that's kind of, I love documentaries. I love studying different cultures. And like I said, it's why one of the number one reasons why I like to travel. Apart from making sure that you get to see everything that this world has to offer, you know, but also study what the locals are like, you know. Don't just go be the tourist, which is what I love doing. I love being the tourist and doing all the touristy things and hitting all the tourist hotspots. But that's why I stay with Airbnb, because ideally I get to hang out with some locals. I get to get their insider tips, and if I can befriend them, I can really get into the minds, the hearts, the lifestyle, all the rest of it, so that I can ultimately expand my mind's capacity beyond what it knows every day, and I can see, oh, maybe that would work for me, or I don't think so, but like, let's just test that out. Let's see how it does work for them. And if you're anything like me and you want to reach your highest potential, I believe that the pathway to reaching our highest potential is challenging our belief systems, challenging, our comfort zones, challenging what we already know. And instead of just trying to feel good within ourselves because we know everything, instead I like to be the person who doesn't know anything, and I've got so much to learn from whoever's in front of me. So if you're like that, I definitely want to encourage you guys to utilize the power of studying diverse cultures so that you can ultimately know yourself better and get clarity and direction as to what you want and what you don't want, and get to experience it and be open-minded to different ways of thinking and living and loving. So I definitely want to check in with you guys. I really hope that this kind of a bit of a different spin on our messages is of value to you guys. Make sure that you're saying hi, check in with me. I always love seeing who's joining me. And if you've got any questions or comments or words of wisdom, you absolutely know that I love hearing from you guys. So let me check in. It's beautiful here and I'm really excited. I've got amazing group coaching session coming up in about half an hour's time. So can't wait to do that. And I've got Rosina, hello to you. And Alexandria, yay. I'm loving that this is a great topic for you and great to be curious about what makes others tick. Absolutely. When we can actually use other people, that thing in our external environment to understand ourselves at a better level. If we study other people, in particular our differences, and kind of be open-minded to it, we can see what kind of feels like, whoa, that's such a good way of thinking and believing and living my life and thinking about love and thinking about health and thinking about whatever the area of life. Or we might on the other side be like, oh, what? I'm super triggered by this situation here. I had a really interesting situation happen last year when I was doing quite a bit of travel around the States. In particular, I was hanging around Salt Lake City. And Salt Lake City, before I got there, I was pretty ignorant to the fact that majority of the population who live in Salt Lake City are of the Mormon religion. And I didn't even really know what that was, And so I kind of took it upon myself at that time to kind of really study what is this Mormon religion? Is it working for people? Is it not working for people? How is it bringing people together? How is it tearing people apart? And I, went to the Temple Square, which is, this main arena for where they've got the temples, and you can go and get information about being a Mormon and all sorts of stuff. And I found myself, quizzing this really young, amazingly enthusiastic Sister Bennett. I still remember her name. And, just asking different questions and, from a place from my heart, just really trying to understand. But I did find myself getting a little bit triggered by some of her answers, which in my limited capacity of knowing anything about it, from what she was saying and how she was answering my questions, I didn't really like the perception that I was having generated, which was, it seemed like there was a bit of an inequality in terms of the roles played between men and women. And anyway, that was just one little example as to how we can be kind of triggered. But then instead of being oh, boom, close the door, we need to go, oh, whoa, I love a bit of a trigger, and go, oh, what is this bringing up for me? What is this area within me that's being really triggered by that? And what does that say about my values? What does that say about maybe where I need to get more information, be more open-minded, or maybe it's triggering me that passion of what I stand for and what I stand against. Like, there is so much value to be mined when we, study the different cultures, different belief systems, different religions, different mindsets of a diverse range of human beings from across the globe. And I love nothing more than doing that. So I hope you guys already do that, or you're inspired to do more of that. And like I said, you don't have to get on a plane to go and do that. You could just join a different group, or go to a different neighborhood, or, go and meet people who maybe are migrants to the country that you live in. There's all sorts of different ways of getting in touch with a diverse range of people. I'm even going to be doing some boxing in the new year, and I'm really excited because I don't mingle with people who do boxing, and I know that it's going to be a bit of a different culture, even though it's going to be like the next suburb over. There's so many different varieties of people who are surrounding us that we can get the same level of expansion through the study of our differences, and also seeing our similarities right here where we live, or overseas, like you can do as well, as we know. So I love that, Alexandria, and Lucy's here as well. Great to see you. And Alexandria, remember when you asked for no apples in your smoothie in Italy and you ended up with an apple-based drink? Oh my God, that was so funny. I totally forgot about that. Exactly. I couldn't get a juice to save my life in Italy. It didn't get easier anywhere around Europe. I don't know why they want to do these one fruit juices. Like, they don't want to do a vegetable juice, and limit the fruit. Yeah, exactly. Great point there, Alexandra. And yes, the documentary sounds amazing. It absolutely is. I think you and Charles would absolutely love it. So hope you tune into it. And Yvonne's here. Great to see you. And Yvonne, that's where we met. Yeah, Salt Lake City, November last year. I go to Salt Lake City often for Young Living. I remember. Oh my gosh, that was so cool. And see, that was another great example of what we're kind of talking about. So Yvonne, the amazing Yvonne and Steve, I actually bumped into when I was traveling around Salt Lake City at a supermarket, for all things. And I think we were buying soups and salads or something from some salad bar in there. And, we just got to, I think I heard you guys had an Aussie accent, and I was like, oh, I can't resist. I need to talk to you guys. We got talking and got, expanding what's going on and what other things there are to do in that community. And yeah, and see, here we are a whole year later, still connected. So I love that, Yvonne. Great to see you. And Arun is here as well. And Yvonne, yes, buying organic food. Go us. We're so healthy. I love it. And soup. Yeah, I think I dropped my soup, but it didn't spill. It had a really good case on it or something. I don't know. But it was absolutely awesome to see and meet you guys. I hope to meet you guys again sometime soon. But that really is my message for each and every one of you. I so appreciate. I have so much gratitude for each and every one of you guys for spending your time with me, for tuning into these messages. If you have found any sort of value in today's message and you think somebody else could gain value from it, I would so appreciate if you shared this message or any of my messages to anybody. That is such a great gift that you can give to me. And if not, no worries, and always drop me questions, comments, all the rest of it. I always love engaging with you guys. And as always, I'm sending you guys all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you to wherever you are in the world today. I really do hope that it's beautiful, amazing, and extraordinary, and you're doing something super empowering. Today's message has definitely served you, and I absolutely cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow. Much love.